We know that children are often the objects of research and, to a lesser extent, participants in research studies about issues on which adults wish to consult them. In both these instances, you could say there's a benevolent protective interest in children's welfare at work. Programs for developing the research skills of children do go a step further in terms of seeing children as competent and worthy of capacity building for research. But this presupposes that children have competency gaps when it comes to researching their world, and that they need to be taught the correct procedure involved to meet objective criteria to be accepted as research. At Small World, we try to hold the image of the child as a primary investigator into matters that interest them, as initiators of their own research processes, as natural, intuitive scientists. Our striving is nurtured by the Reggio Emilia approach. It's long viewed children as capable researchers and therefore co-constructors of knowledge. These principles contain a specific view of power, and that is that as educators, we are required to be aware of how power is moving between us and the children. Where are we practicing power over the children, and where are we practicing power with children? We know also that the field of knowledge construction is a contested space. Whose knowledge counts, who's given space to contribute what they know, whose voices are heard and whose are not, ultimately determine what becomes credible knowledge and what does not. And children's voices need to be heard within their own research processes, within their own knowledge construction processes about what they are interested in learning. Consequently, we've been fascinated to observe how the children at Small World go about constructing knowledge about what interests them. Recently, over a 2-week period, we followed a group of 3- and 4-year-old children in their process of exploring the possibilities offered by a bucket and a rope. Each day, they would return to their self-selected research site to attach the bucket and rope. They would test the variety of rope tying and pulling strategies needed to raise and lower the bucket, what happened when water was added, and how different tensions produced different effects. Along the way, the children gave various names to their research. The bucket and rope idea, centripetal force, and it's 1.5 were some of the titles. There were many playful moments when the rope was used as a tightrope, when impromptu games of tug occurred. Some children chose to diagrammatically depict the map of the contraption. We've also observed how children have been researching in the light construction room, creating scenes with backgrounds and foregrounds using the overhead projector. Their hands and eyes have danced together, testing the effects of different materials and placement of objects in order to make their scenes visible on the wall. They've asked why the images disappear when they switch the light off, and when noticing that a combination of blue and yellow transparent materials held up to the light creates green, they've asked, how is that possible? These observations confirm for us that children's play is alive with research, and that our role is to make and hold space for this to unfold by figuring out which materials, expressive languages, questions can be offered to make visible how children discover their world, how they research their world, rather than what we think the child is needing to learn.